How you guys? Okay. I hope everyone is doing really, really well today. I hope that everybody is staying optimistic about everything and just keeping a positive mindset. And just knowing that even through challenges that your outcome is greater. But we have to also put ourselves in a position where we are staying optimistic and staying positive, okay? So, as we all know with this channel, okay, it can get deep. It can get deep. And I always say with this channel right here, like my channel is not meant for everybody because it can be triggering and it can trigger people spiritually. So, everybody that is subscribed, I do thank y'all for subscribing. I thank y'all for watching. I thank y'all for just taking the time out to support. And like, I really, really appreciate everybody. I really, really do. And I thank y'all. And I really genuinely just love y'all. And like I always say, the goal for me in doing these videos is really therapeutic because it really helps me to get on here and do these videos and put it out there, the content out there, and knowing that it'll help somebody else. So not only is this therapeutic for me, but it helps others, okay? And so I love y'all. I really, really do. And I just really, really appreciate everybody, okay? So I understand that a lot of topics that we talk about on this channel, it can deal with a lot of internal things. It can deal with a lot of spiritual things and healing, okay? And it's like I do like to keep this channel light still, but still at the same token get to the root of what it is we need to do, okay? So, I don't know. I'm back. I'm here, and the video that we're going to do today is love addictions. Okay? Now, to the average person, they would say there is no such thing as love addictions. But, and don't get me wrong, and I don't knock anybody if they feel like there is no such thing as love addictions or anything, okay? I don't knock nobody for that. But I do want people to let me know what you think. Do you believe in love addictions or don't you? You know, I'm open to anybody's comments. You know, I'm very open. Just as long as we keep it respectful. But I just feel like some people may say they don't believe in love addictions. Some people may say they do. But when it comes to love addictions, this is what we're going to talk about. So in this video, we're going to talk about solely based on traits of how you can identify if you are operating out of a love addiction, or if you do carry traits of a love addiction, but you was never aware, okay? So this video right here, this is going to be part one, and we're going to do this video based on seeing the traits of what it happens when you are operating out of love addictions, okay? And then in this video, we're going to talk about the root of where that love addiction comes from. Because what I always say is that at the end of the day, you can see the problems or the issues or things that you need to heal from, but if you don't get to the root cause of it, you'll never know how to effectively change those things intentionally, okay? So this is what this video is for. I'm going to do another video after this, and that'll probably be a shorter video, but it'll be based on how do we begin to heal from love addiction, okay? And that'll be part two. So, when I say that I was doing my research on this topic, y'all, and it was like God just said, I'm finna hit you with the 1-2 punch. You know what I'm saying? It was like 1-2, the blows was tough. Because the reason why I say doing the research, and I really done my research on this, and I'm not gonna make this video long because I want y'all to get the content of what love addiction is, but I also want y'all to be able to go more depths and do the research on your own to understand for yourself, okay? Because each one of us got different traits, okay? So when I say I was doing the research on this, it was just like a 1-2 hit a quitter for me, because all I seen was myself as I was doing this love addiction research. You know what I'm saying? And I think maybe prior to maybe a year and 6 months ago, I didn't realize I had all of these traits like a year and 6 months ago, but I had so many freaking traits of this love addiction. And coming into where I am, and I think that probably what made me get more in tune with this was after my boyfriend passed away. That's when a lot of things start to transition for me and shift for me. And that's when I started to pay more attention and be very, very conscious and very intentional on what I'm doing and what's going on with me internally. So to do this research, it was like just all I seen was myself, okay? So I felt like what better way than to bring it to y'all, because maybe it'll help somebody and maybe y'all will get what y'all need. So that was my ramble. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Okay. I'm finna get into the video now. So we are talking about love addictions, okay? So when we hear the word love addiction, sometimes it makes us uncomfortable. It makes us feel ashamed. Okay? And one thing I want all of everybody to understand watching this video is that this video is not to make nobody feel ashamed. You should never feel ashamed. You should never feel like you less than. You should never feel like you're unworthy. You should never feel like if you have these traits that your self-esteem is low. No, that's not it. When you have certain traits or you're dealing with this love addiction, you have to understand the root of where it comes from first. So that's one thing I want us to put out there. Don't ever feel ashamed, because without the truth, we won't know the light of it, okay? And that's the purpose of this video, to bring light to the truth, to expose the truth, and to be honest with ourselves. Because I can be honest with y'all and tell y'all that yes, doing this research, I've seen so many traits of myself. But also doing this research, I've seen how far I've come in not having certain traits now. You know what I'm saying? But it still takes a lot of internal work, and it still takes a lot of healing daily, okay? So when it comes to the love addiction, okay, a lot of times people don't even realize they operating out of a love addiction. Because what happens is that people will mix unhealthy love and healthy love together and think that the love that they're getting right now is healthy, when in reality it's unhealthy. So you have to understand, when it comes to love addiction, it's a big difference between healthy love and unhealthy love. And that's how you'll know what lane you in. You know what I'm saying? So if you notice that you can attract a lot of unhealthy relationships, then you have to understand that's an unhealthy type of love, okay? Versus when you attract somebody and it's a very healthy and stable relationship, and it's helping you to become the best person you can be, in a bigger version of yourself. It's not to say you won't go through ups and downs in the healthy relationship, because you will. You're going to go through a lot of challenges, but it's going to remain in a healthy state, okay? But when you go through challenges and difficulties in the unhealthy love, what happens is that it becomes like a cycle of something that you feel like you have to stay in, because you have become addicted to this unhealthy love. You have become addicted to this person. You have become obsessed with the person, okay? And that's what the unhealthy love comes in at. And that's what happens with a person that is love addicted, okay? Or has a love addiction. So a lot of times when we are dealing with love addictions, first and foremost, we're going to deal with the root of where love addictions come from, okay? And how we start to get these traits in us at a young age, okay? So what happens is, and I'm sorry, I had to take notes on this one. So what happens is that people that generally have this love addiction, what happens is the reason why they start to have these traits in them is because they deal with a past history of abandonment from when they was a child. Okay? And what happens is they deal with abandonment issues from their primary caregivers, or maybe you dealt with abandonment issues from your mama or your daddy or both of your parents. But the root of love addiction it comes from a stem of feeling abandonment from when you was a child. It comes from, and if you look at abandonment, what does abandonment means? Abandonment also means when you are not effectively nurtured the right way, when you're not giving the love and the affection and the security that you need to feel secure. So when you don't have these things in place as a little child, and all you feel is the neglect, and you don't feel the affection and the security and the love from your caregivers or your parents, you know what I'm saying? What happens is you start to feel abandoned. You start to feel a sense of abandonment. And that's where this love addiction stems from. It solely comes from abandonment. And a lot of times when we dealing with abandonment issues, if you notice, if you've been a person, and I know I have been a person, and I still deal with traits where I'm working on them every day. But because I have dealt with abandonment issues, I also struggle with rejection. You know what I'm saying? And so by me struggling with rejection, that means that I never wanted to be rejected. I'm sorry, I never wanted to be rejected. So a lot of times when people with love addictions, when they dealing with abandonment issues, they're also dealing with rejection issues. They're also dealing with low self-esteem, and they're also dealing with the fact of low self-worth, the low value about themselves, okay? So that's where this love addiction comes from solely. When we was a child, when we was a kid, and we felt abandoned by our parents or our caregivers, or we felt that we didn't get the love and the nurture and the affection that we should have got as a little girl or a little boy. And so we grew up with this feeling of abandonment. And so as we grew up with this feeling of abandonment, then we felt like, okay, we're growing up with this spirit of rejection too. So, you know what I'm saying? So now you don't want people to reject you, because when you get rejected, you feel a sense of abandonment. And when you feel a sense of abandonment, what happens if you ever been in a situation where you felt like somebody abandoned you? What happened instantly? You fear. You go into a state of fear and anxiety. And that's all abandonment is. It is rejection. It is fear. It is anxiety. It is afraid of rejection. It is low self-esteem. That's all abandonment is. Abandonment is tied to so much. This is why I say daily we have to really, really understand that healing from a love addiction is not going to come overnight. It's not going to come just easy. It's a daily process where you have to really, really go through the process of healing from a lot of abandonment issues that you have had since you was a little girl or a little boy. And that's where it stems from. Okay? And I hope that makes sense to everybody, and I hope we got that. And I hope it's making sense to why we do come into this form of love addiction. Okay? Now, what are the traits of love addictions? We may want to know. Okay? So, one of the traits of love addiction is a love addict will have fantasies of being rescued by their loved one, and often believe that this one person can somehow make them feel whole and complete and okay. So the first trait is that a person with this love addict, the person that carries this love addict, what happens is they will look for their partner. And basically, it's like the love addict conjures up a fantasy in their mental. They conjure up a fantasy in their mind, right? And in the fantasy that they built in their mind, they have put all their energy and their time and their effort into believing that their partner is going to save them and make them be whole and complete. And the reason why a person that carries this love addict, the reason why they deal with this type of energy is because they don't want to feel abandoned. So the first thing that that love addict will do is they will conjure up something in their mental mind and make their self believe that their partner is the one that's going to rescue them and make them whole and complete. And their partner is the one that's going to make them feel so secure where they don't have to feel that abandonment. That's one of the traits that you operating out of a love addiction, okay? Another trait is this. Love addicts spend much time and effort on a person to whom they are addicted to. So if you have found yourself in a position where you have spent all your time, your energy, your effort, your mind, your body, your soul, everything within you, and all you did was spend all this time and effort on this person, then that is a love addict. You know what I'm saying? That means you have this love addiction to this person because you have invested your body, your mind, your soul, every fiber within you have invested into this person. And now by you investing every part of who you are into this person, you have now become addicted and obsessed with this person. And that is another trait of a love addict. That is another form of love addiction. Okay. And another form is love addicts value the person above themselves. And their focus is often on their partner, and they can become obsessive. I'm going to read that again. Love addicts value the person above themselves, and their focus is often on the person, and they become obsessed. So with love addicts, what they do, they focus all their attention, their time, their effort on the person. Okay? And that's how we begin the energy of being obsessed with a person, because I believe this, where your energy goes, your mind goes. Everything is energy, and energy is everything. So when you are constantly putting your energy and your time into a person, you know what I'm saying, and that's all you can think about, then what happened is you have become addicted. You have become addicted to this person because you don't know anything outside of this person. You can't even function outside of this person. You know what I'm saying? You can't even really be productive in your day to do what you have to do for you because you are so addicted to this person and obsessed. And I hope that makes sense, y'all. So this is what happens when you are dealing with a lot of these traits of love addiction, okay? And what I want us to understand about love addiction is that it's not a disease. It's not. It's something that we really need to heal from, okay? So I just want to continue to say that. And I want to continue to say that don't ever feel ashamed about these traits, because you know, being a little child, a little boy or a little girl, you had no control over the fact that you felt abandoned. You had no control over the fact that you didn't get the nurture or the love that you needed. And you had no control over the fact that you grew up as an adult with these traits. But now, since we know better, we do better, right? Know better, do better. Okay. So another trait of love addiction is the love addiction is often sexual experiences with a person you feel as though you're in love with them. Okay, now let me break that down. Let me read it again. Love addiction is often a sexual experience you have with a person, and right after you have that sexual experience with that person, you feel as though you're in love with them. Okay, and don't get me wrong, some people say they believe in love at first sight. That's cool. But it's a big difference, once again, between healthy love and unhealthy love, okay? So you can have a sexual experience with somebody and feel the connection, but you can also have a sexual experience with somebody and become totally obsessed with that person to the point where you feel like you have fallen head over heels, deep, deep in love with the person after this sexual encounter. And that's what love addicts do. They fall in love with a person immediately after the sexual encounter, but not really taking the time to get to know the person, but they're basing it solely on the fact that they don't want to feel that abandonment. So they make themselves believe in their mind and conjure up mentally that I'm in love with this person because now we have had a sexual encounter, we connected, so now I'm obsessed with them. Okay. I know this is getting deep, y'all, but the thing is, and I say this, y'all, that I'm on here doing this video, and doing this video is helping me to heal from even traits that I still see within myself when it comes to this love addict or love addiction. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is that you got to be transparent and you got to be honest with yourself, because at the end of the day, you have to look your own self in the mirror. You have to sit with your own self, okay? So I just encourage everybody, be honest with yourself, because that's the only way you're going to really heal from this love addict, or that's the only way you're going to really heal when it comes to this love addiction, is when you honest with yourself. And then you can begin to do the work to heal from it and heal those abandonment issues that you've been dealing with for years. Okay. Another trait is that with love addiction can form when you have had a lack of love from your parents. And so you look for the love in your partner and you become obsessed and you look at your partner as trying to fill that void. So another way you could tell if you're dealing with a person, or if you're the one with a love addiction, is that when you have dealt with abandonment issues from your parents, right? And then you get a partner, you get in a relationship with a man or a woman, right? And then you start to look for that man or woman to fill that void of that emptiness of abandonment by trying to hold on so tight to them. Where, I mean, you are literally holding on so tight to the relationship, or you're holding on so tight to the girlfriend or the boyfriend, to where you're holding on tight because you fear the abandonment. You fear them abandoning you. And so what happens is that you become so obsessed with the person. And what happens in reality on a spiritual level, all you're doing is replacing that man with your parent. All you're doing is replacing that woman as your parent. Because, say for instance, if you're a man and you didn't get the proper love and nurture and affection that you need from your mother, right? And you go off and get in this relationship and you still got a lot of abandonment issues, right? You're going to get in that relationship with that woman if you have not healed. This is if you have not healed. You're going to get in a relationship with that woman with these abandonment issues. And you're going to be so obsessive over her. And you're going to be so possessive over her. And you're going to look for her to fill that void of abandonment issues. You're going to hold on so tight to her because you're not going to want her to reject you. You're not going to want her to stray so far away from you. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what happens when we are dealing with abandonment issues. So let's switch it up and say it's a woman. And the woman got abandonment issues from childbirth, from childhood, right? So she dealt with a lot of abandonment issues, And so what happens is she'll get in this relationship with this man, okay? And because she still got a lot of abandonment issues, and because her self-esteem is low, because she fear rejection, because she fear being alone, because she fear loneliness, what happens is that she will bring this man into her world and her life, and she will expect this man to fill every position that she's empty in. So that means if she has a fear of rejection, she will look for this man to fill that void of rejection for her. That means if she's dealing with abandonment issues, she will look for that man to fill that void as far as her abandonment issues. If she's dealing with the fear of low self-esteem, she will look for that man to come in her life and build her self-esteem up herself, and build her self-esteem up instead of her being able to do it herself. That means if she's dealing with not knowing how to set boundaries, you know what I'm saying? She will look for that man to come in her life and to set boundaries for her. You know what I'm saying? And I hope this is making sense when we are talking about the love addict or the love addiction. And this is what happens when we're dealing with love addicts. Okay, they are taking their abandonment issues and looking for their partner to heal them. When in reality, only God can heal you from those abandonment issues. Only God can heal you from that fear of rejection. Only God can heal you from low self-esteem. Only God can heal you where your self-worth is diminished. Only God can. But when you are dealing with a love addict, or if you are the love addict, you will look for your partner to come in and heal you in those areas. And what happens is your partner will start to despise you and not want to be with you because they feel like you are applying the pressure to them. You are applying the pressure to them to heal you when they can't even heal themselves, let alone try to heal you. All right, moving along, y'all, because we are already 25 minutes in this video, and I'm so sorry. Okay, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay. And the next trait you know that you are dealing with a love addict is you have trouble leaving unhealthy relationships. Okay, so when you are in an unhealthy relationship, you know the relationship is unhealthy. You know that it's toxic. You know that it's not good for you. But because you are a love addict, you struggle with even leaving that unhealthy relationship. Because why? You feel like if you leave that unhealthy relationship, this means that you have to be single. This means that you have to deal with your issues. This means that you now have to deal with the phases of feeling lonely. You see what I'm saying? And so with a love addict, they always want to fill up them empty voids and them empty spaces in them with a person. So when you're dealing with a love addict, you can see somebody, or you can be the one, or in your past or your present, wherever, you can be in an unhealthy relationship and you will stay in that relationship, even if you know in your heart of heart it's unhealthy for me, but you stay in it because you rather stay in an unhealthy relationship because you have become so obsessed with the relationship where you cannot imagine yourself not having it anymore. You cannot, and you become so obsessed with the person where you cannot even fathom the person not being in your life no more. And so you stay in this unhealthy relationship or this unhealthy cycle because why? You fear the abandonment. You fear rejection. You fear the low self-esteem. You fear that if you have to let this person or this relationship go, I have to deal with the fact that my self-esteem is low. I have to deal with the fact that I got abandonment issues. I have to deal with the fact that I feel rejected. And that's why they stay in unhealthy relationships. All right. Another trait of a love addict is having a hard time maintaining relationships after the honeymoon phase is over. Okay, so I'm gonna read it again. Having a hard time maintaining relationships after the honeymoon phase is over. So a lot of times with love addicts, after you know in every relationship, when we first start off, the relationship is just so beautiful, it's gorgeous, you just be like in heaven. You be like, oh my God, I love the hell out of him. I love the hell out of her. She is my everything. She is my queen. She is it. But what happens is after their honeymoon phase wear off and you start to have challenges and difficulties in the relationship with her and with him, it's like you be ready to end the relationship. You be ready to cut ties. You be ready to say, I'm done. I'm out. I don't want the relationship no more. Why? Because you fear the abandonment. You fear the rejection. You fear the fact that now the honeymoon phase is over. And now I got to deal with challenges. I got to deal with the ups and downs. I got to deal with this person being difficult. I got to deal with the fact that this person may dismiss me and he may ignore me. I got to deal with the fact that this person may sometime at some point reject me. So what you do is you ghost that person and you ghost the relationship before you got to deal with them abandonment issues again. And I hope that even makes sense, y'all. I'm really hoping that the traits of a love addict I'm breaking down is really helping y'all. Okay. And so another trait is this, okay? Using sex and fantasies while you're single. So a lot of times with love addicts, if you're a love addict and you're single, right? A lot of times you will use sex as a placeholder, okay? So because you feel empty, because you feel like you got an emptiness of abandonment or rejection or fear or low self-esteem or low worth, whatever, right? What happens is that you will jump woman to woman having sex with multiple women, or as a woman, you will jump a man to man to man to man having sex with multiple men. Or you would just use sex period as a tool to fill that emptiness or that void in you, because as long as you're having sex, you don't have to feel those feelings of abandonment. As long as you having sex constantly with multiple people or constantly around the clock, you don't have to feel that rejection, or you don't have to feel that low self-esteem. And that's why a lot of love addicts will use sex as a cup holder or a placeholder to not deal with that abandonment issues or the rejection or none of that. All right, moving on. A lot of times too with love addicts, another trait you'll see when it comes to love addict is that they'll start missing out on important events. Okay, so let's just throw an example out there. Let's just say it's a woman in a relationship with a man, and she get invited to her sister, her cousin's wedding, right? But he's not going. He want to stay home and chill. But because she's so obsessed with him, instead of getting dressed and going to that cousin wedding, she's like, nah, I'm going to stay at home with him. I want to be up under him. I want to cuddle with him. I want to be right here with him. Okay? And so I'm not saying that it's anything wrong with being in a relationship and wanting to be up under your partner. That's a beautiful thing. I promise y'all, it is a beautiful thing. I love it because I'm a very affectionate person. But you got to have boundaries too. You have to know how to still live your life outside of your partner. You have to know how to still have activities outside of your partner. You know what I'm saying? And so with a love addict, they don't know how to do anything outside of their partner. They don't know how to go to important events if their partner is not going. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to get out the house, go out and enjoy yourself if their partner is just sitting in the house. So if their partner is sitting in the house and they can be really wanting to get out and go enjoy the day, but instead of them going out and enjoying the day and doing what they need to do for them, they'll sit right up under their partner. Why? Because they have become so obsessed. And they don't know how to do anything outside of their partner. He don't know how to do anything outside of her. She don't know how to do anything outside of him. And that's a love addict, okay? Another form is when, and I think we wiring down, y'all. This is the last one. This is the last trait of a love addict or a person with a love addiction, okay? When your partner is ignoring you, and I want y'all to pay attention to this one, because we all have done this. I have. When your partner is ignoring you or being dismissive towards you, a love addict will become more manipulative and deceptive, or it can be the other way. So if your partner is dismissing you or ignoring you, a love addict will start being overly agreeable with their partner, or they'll start playing the victim, or they'll try to make their partner jealous, or they'll try to become a slave for their partner. And I hope that made sense, y'all. So a lot of times when you have this, when you're dealing with a love addict, or you are the love addict, or you've been in a relationship like that in the past and you no longer are there or whatever, what happens is that when your partner starts to ignore you or be dismissive towards you, sometimes you can start trying to manipulate your partner to be in a certain way for you. Okay, you can start manipulating. You can start saying little stuff and doing stuff here and there to get their attention or get them to respond. Okay, or you can become really deceitful. You see what I'm saying? And what I mean by deceitful, meaning you can become so overly agreeable with your partner and don't realize that you're being deceived.